Hey guys, it's Mrs. Cutting, and I'm back for part 2 of the lesson 6 video. So we are now on number 2 at the top of page 33. So we were talking about these people cooking oatmeal. The next weekend after the camping trip, Lynn and Diego each decide to cook a large batch of oatmeal to have breakfast ready for the whole week. Lynn decides to cook 5 cups of oats. How many cups of water should she boil? And Diego boils 10 cups of water. How many cups of oats should he add to the water? So I'm going to have you pause and solve both of those with your talking partner. You're going to use this information. I know I made a mess of this page, but you're going to use this information to help you. All right. So a couple ways we could have done this. We could have made a table. But also, because we know how many cups of oats per cup of water and how many cups of water per cup of oats, since we already know that, we actually don't need to make a table. So Lynn decides to cook 5 cups of oats. How many cups of water should she boil? Well, I just need to know, again, how many cups of oats per cup of water. Nope, I said that backwards. How many cups of water per cup of oats? Because once I know that, then I can just multiply it by 5. So if I look back on my other page, it's 2.5 cups of water per cup of oats. So I'm going to write that up here. 2.5 cups of water per cup of oats. And I have 5 cups of oats. So I'm just going to do 5 times 2.5. And again, I could have put this in a table, but because I already have this information, I might as well use it. And that gives me 12.5 cups of water. So then for Diego, it tells us how many cups of water. So here I'm going to use my other unit rate. I'm going to use that it's 4/10 of a cup of oats per cup of water. 0.4 cups of oats per cup of water. So now I'm going to do 10 cups of water times 0.4 cups of oats per cup of water, and that gives me 4 cups of oats. And your part of the equation for this section is 2. So then, for number 3, it says, did you use Priya's rate or Hans' rate to help you answer each of the previous 2 questions, and why? So, pause and talk about that with your talking partner. You don't necessarily need to write it down. So please pause and discuss number 3. Okay, welcome back. So we actually used Priya's rate for this one, and we used Hans' rate for this one. So which rate we used depended on what information we already had. So up here, we knew how many cups of oats. So we wanted to use the unit rate that told us how many cups of water for 1 cup of oats, because then we can just multiply that by 5. And here, we knew how many cups of water, so we wanted to use the rate that was for per cup of water, because then we can just multiply that. It would have been a lot more work if I had done that backwards and had used the opposite unit rates. Then I probably would have had to make a table. So we ended up using them both. All right, and your part of the equation for this section is a plus sign. So then I want to go back to my slide for just a second and give you a clear definition for unit rate. A unit rate is the amount of one quantity for one of the other quantity. So examples, pretty familiar on the highway with 70 miles per hour, which means 70 miles for every 1 hour. Or at a job, you might make $15 per hour. That means you earn $15 for every 1 hour. So what Priya and, who was the other person? Priya and Han found were the unit rates. 0.4 cups of oats per cup of water. So for every 1 cup of water, we use another 0.4 cups of oats. And then Han's rate, 2.5 cups of water per cup of oats. So for every 1 cup of oats, we use another 2.5 cups of water. So then down here, it just throws the word at us. For each situation, find the unit rates. So, number 1 says, a cheesecake recipe says, mix 12 ounces of cream cheese with 15 ounces of sugar. And the first unit rate we want is how many ounces of cream cheese are there for every ounce of sugar. So this for every means either per or for 1. So we want to figure out how many ounces of cream cheese for 1 ounce of sugar. And then over here we want to find the other rate. How many ounces of sugar for every or per or for 1 ounce of cream cheese. So I'm going to have you pause and solve both of those. You're just finding their unit rates. You can use a table or you can try just dividing, kind of like my makeshift table over here where I didn't really draw the table, but I knew that because I wanted 1 cup of water, I'm going to put water over here, and I'm going to do 15 divided by 15 to give me that 1, so then I'll do 6 divided by 15. All right, so pause me and solve those. And welcome back. So I like to label when I set up my ratio because otherwise I get it all turned around in my head. So it was how many ounces of cream cheese for every 1 ounce of sugar. So I'm going to do cream cheese. I'm just going to use a C to S. And I'm using sugar second because that's what I want 1 of. So it was 12 ounces of cream cheese for 15 ounces of sugar. And I want to find 1 ounce of sugar. So 15 divided by 15 and 12 divided by 15. So this gives me 1 on this side, and then 12 divided by 15 gives me 0.8. So that means 0.8 ounces of cream cheese per ounce of sugar. So I'm going to write that as my unit rate. 0.8 ounces, that's the abbreviation for ounces, of cream cheese per, or for every 1 ounce of sugar. So then, how many ounces of sugar is that for every ounce of cream cheese? This time I'm going to write it the opposite way. So I'm going to do sugar first and then cream cheese. So that's 15 first and then 12. And I want to find for 1 ounce of cream cheese. So divided by 12. So 15 divided by 12 gives me 1.25. And 12 divided by 12 just gives me 1. So this is telling me that it's 1.25. Sorry about that. 1.25 ounces of sugar for every 1 ounce of cream cheese. So 1.25 ounces of sugar for every 1 or per ounce of cream cheese. Okay, so So if this part didn't go so well, then make sure you copy my work down so that this part can go a little bit better, okay? So I'm going to have you do number 2 now with your talking partner. Mai's family drinks a total of 10 gallons of milk for every 6 weeks. So how many gallons of milk does the family drink per week? So that's our 1. And how many weeks does it take the family to consume 1 gallon of milk? So pause me for a moment, solve that with your partner. And welcome back. So we knew it was 10 gallons, 6 weeks. And here I want per week. So I'm going to do gallons to weeks. So that's 10 to 6. But I want to find for 1 week. So I'm going to divide both of my numbers by 6. So 10 divided by 6 gives me this crazy decimal, 1.66666. And the way that we actually write that 6 goes on forever is with a little line over it. That is not something you're expected to know at this point, but that's okay. And this 6 divided by 6 is 1. So what that's saying is 1.6, I'm going to round it off, 1.67 gallons of milk per week. So every 1 week they drink 1.67, or the fraction of that is 1 2/3. So then how many weeks does it take the family to consume 1 gallon of milk? So this time I want weeks to gallons. So that's 6 to 10. And if I divide both my numbers by 10, that gives me 1 on this side, and 6 divided by 10 just gives me 0.6 or 0.6. So that's 0.6 weeks per gallon. And the part of your equation for this section is 54. Okay. Turn the page. Number 3. Tyler paid $16 for 4 raffle tickets. What is the price per ticket? And then how many tickets is that per dollar? So again, we're just finding those unit rates, so please pause me to do that. Okay, welcome back. So when I want the price per ticket, I'm going to put the dollars first and the tickets second. So 16 to 4. And I want for 1 ticket, so I'm going to divide by 4. And we get 4 to 1. So that means it's $4 per ticket. And then how many tickets is that per dollar? And this is weird because it's going to end up being less than 1. But this time I want tickets first and dollars second. So I want 4 to 16. And I'm going to divide by 16 with both of my numbers. So this just gives me 1, but 4 divided by 16 gives me 0.25. That's supposed to be a 5. So basically they can buy a quarter of a ticket for $1, which just a quarter of a ticket, obviously that's completely useless, but that's beside the point. So 0.25 tickets per dollar. And the part of your equation for this section is a subtraction sign. And I will see you in a minute in part 3.